Right. But I feel like people are just going to have robots that they work with for a while, at least, before they merge, don't you think?
I think the real dilemma is going to be what happens first and what has to happen first. So if artificial intelligence can now make its own decisions, and if artificial intelligence becomes sentient, means it becomes independent and then decides to make its own decisions and make a better version of itself, it's going to very quickly reach some godlike level. The only way we're going to survive is if we're merging with it. If we're still just fucking talking monkeys and we create this thing that's infinitely smarter than us and immediately puts a stop to all the shenanigans in the world, cuts off Pacific Ocean fishing, like engineers all the plastic removal, kills all the coal plants, redesigns nuclear power, gets rid of all the fucking solar. Like this is put a fucking reactor here. Get out of here with your panels. You've got 85 football fields covered up with this ugly black square thing. Fuck out of here. What are you dummies doing? Oh, you got a wind farm? Great. What are you going to do with all these birds that get chewed up like they're flying into a fan? Pull that shit down. And then they'll redesign all of our irrigation systems. They'll redesign all the food. And then they go, why are we feeding these morons?
Right.
What are they doing? You feed them, what do? They just want to eat Doritos and drink soda pop and watch 90 Day Fiancé. That's all they want to do.
Well, that's the scary thing is they realize they don't need us. Someone used the metaphor of like cows. We eat cows and we wear them, so we have cows around. But if we had, whatever you call it, 3D printers that just made meat and leather, we would probably be like, we don't need these cows anymore. They stink and their methane is fucking up the environment. Let's just get rid of them. That's AI. We're the cows.
You know what the darkest conspiracy theory about aliens is?
I don't know if I'm ready for it.
That Earth is essentially a farm and human beings are the vessels that contain souls, and they want us because this is how they create souls. And so they're farming us. They've created us. So we started off as primates, and through some sort of genetic intervention, I'm not saying I believe this. I'm just saying that this is like top of the food chain, put your tinfoil hat on super tight, that they farm us. And that the whole reason why human beings are involved in this conflict, constant conflict, it's all of it is to increase our competition with each other, increase our ability to control resources, which will increase our technology, which will ultimately lead to us creating this being that we're going to create, this artificially intelligent super god, which is going to happen.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, that sounds crazy. I hope that's not the case. I got gigs.
I think the gigs are going to be over.
No, come on. What are you doing? You're bumming me out.
Once we become cyborgs, comedy's not going to be what we do anymore. We're going to be flying. We're going to realize UFOs are around us all the time.
No, we're going to be just fine. We're going to be just fine.
Are you worried?
Great. I'm a little. I'm always worried about the future. The unknown is terrifying.
What about the election?
When am I worried about the election?
Yeah.
Slightly. I mean, I've gotten much better at being like, I can't control any of this, and so I just take it a day at a time. But this could be. It could be
very AA of you.
It is, yeah. I mean, I'm an AA guy. I mean, but that's also just a proper way to live.
Yeah,
Buddhist
it's a smart way to live.
Sort of thing. I can't control it, but yeah, it's going to be crazy. It also feels like Trump is going to win, doesn't it?
More than it ever felt like it in 2016.
Certainly.
In 2016, it was like a joke to say that he was going to win.
Yes. There was like 8 people that were like, guys.
Yeah, you could go on stage and go, Trump's going to win, you pussies. And people would go, whoa. They would think you could play a character that said Trump was going to win.
Right.
You don't even know about the regular America.
Well, I think he didn't even think he was going to win.
Oh, I think he thought he was going to win.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I felt like he was like, oh, okay.
Did you see the footage that was removed from what was it? Meet the Press?
No.
They removed 9 minutes of him denying the election.
Of Trump denying?
So he does this interview, and the 9 minutes that got removed is all him talking about the Hunter Biden laptop, that was election interference, and that they were doing ballot stuffing. The lady's going, that's all been disproven. That's been disproven by the heads of your intelligence agency. That's been disproven by your team. You know that that's not true. And they're like going back and forth. And it's like, it's really wild. Let's move on to more productive topics, Mr. President. Let's move on, Mr. President. And he's like, it's real. They stuffed the ballots. You've seen them stuff it. You've seen the photos. It's a wild conversation.
And they took it off the internet?
Yeah. Well, they took it off the show. And he's essentially saying, like, if he went to court, he'd have so much evidence that he'd win in court.
Right.
But why don't they go to court then? This is what I don't understand. I don't want to get – I'm agnostic about all this stuff until you show me, like, what kind of evidence is involved in this.
But isn't it – I mean, am I just consuming too much mainstream evidence? I mean, media? Like, I think there is no evidence. I think he's completely –
well, what he's saying is that there is evidence and that he needs to provide it in court. And what I'm saying is, like, why aren't you in court then?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Because he's lying.
Well, I don't know.
He's not just Donald Trump's not the guy that's going to sit on evidence that's going to show that he won.
But that's a big lie. And the other things that he said before, you know, they were saying that he was lying about Hunter Biden. They were saying he was lying about the laptop. And then they got the 51 intelligence agencies to back up, you know, the fact that it was disinformation. Like, he was right about that, though. He was right about the bribes. He was right about all that